Over the next few weeks, This is America visits Japan, a country rich in tradition and undergoing a historic period of transition. On this program, we'll take a look at Japan's economy, trade, innovation, and craftsmanship, and the importance of the trade agreement known as the Trans-Pacific Partnership. This is America and the World is brought to you by the National Education Association, the U.S.-China Education Trust, and the F.Y. Chang Foundation, guided by Ambassador Julia Chang Block, President. The League of Arab States, representing 350 million people in 22 member countries. ANA, Japan's largest airline with an extensive network throughout Asia. Japan, history, hospitality, and advanced technology, sharing tomorrow. The Republic of Kazakhstan, a rich history and a future of development and growth. The Rotendaro Family Trust. The Embassy Series, uniting people through musical diplomacy, presenting international artists in diplomatic settings. And Ventana Productions, television facilities, editing, and distribution services. I had the honor and pleasure to sit with the Minister for Economic Revitalization, Akira Amari. We talked about the Japan-U.S. trade relationship and the mutual importance of the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade agreement. Where, Minister, does Japan fit into the world economy?
私は一昨年のダボス会議で
Year before last, I went to Davos Economic Forum, and there I declared in terms of what Japan needs to do and aims to achieve. First, we have to break away from deflationary situation and regain Japan's growth potentials. And together with the United States, Japan would have to become once again a driver for world economy, driving engine for the world economy. And for the time being, the world economy has been driven by the United States and China. However, more recently, China's economy is becoming more and more uncertain. So it seems that the United States will become a single engine for the world economy. But since the Chinese economy is becoming more and more uncertain, our aim is to make Japan to join the United States so that we both can become a double engine for the world economy.
The importance of Japan to the United States to Japan, critical, huh?
日米がですね
Yes, cooperation and partnership between the United States and Japan needs to be very strong and robust, and that is good not only for Japan and the United States, but also for East Asia and the world as a whole in many ways. So the partnership between the two countries is becoming more and more important. President Obama will be coming to Japan on the 23rd of this month, and there we needed to once again confirm the bond or relationship between Japan and the United States in the areas including security and economy, and that would contribute to stability in the East Asia and the world.
Japan has a reputation as being an innovator, and their craftsmanship is superb. Has the emphasis been placed too much in one area but left out the marketing area?
そのご指摘は一面正しいと思います。
Yes, you made a very good point. You're right. Some people say that Japan won the competition in terms of technology but lost business. Therefore, going forward, we also have to focus on both things, namely technological development and marketing. We also continue to focus on technological advance and innovation, but at the same time, we have to make effort so that that would lead to successful and thriving business.
The Trans-Pacific Partnership. It must be on your mind all the time. Is it going to happen?
可能だと思います。
Yes, I think that would happen. That is why I'm working so hard. And one important thing to be recognized is that 80% of the economic activities among 12 TPP negotiating partners is accounted for only by Japan and the United States. Therefore, TPP will not function in a true sense without agreement between Japan and the United States. That is why I am leaving today, this afternoon, to go to the United States to negotiate with Ambassador Froman, USTR, US Trade Representative. And when we have a good prospect for the agreement between the United States and Japan, I think we'll be able to make a big progress in TPP negotiations as a whole.
You may not know it, but Hitachi is everywhere, from medical equipment to power tools, from automotive systems to information technologies. Hitachi does it all.
Hitachi was born in 1910, so we have more than 100 years of history. It has started as an electric machinery shop, then expanded our businesses to, say, information telecommunication systems, construction machineries, plants, and high functional materials of chemicals and metals, and financial services. We have 7, 8, 9 business segments now, and the total size of the revenue is now about $90 billion US. Hitachi is one of the largest business group in Japan and probably in the world. We have more than 900 companies under the Hitachi group. We have total employment of more than 300,000 all over the world.
Whoa. What are the top 3 companies?
Top 3 business segments are information telecommunication systems, power systems, and social infrastructure and industrial systems. We have about 40% of revenue, total revenue, come from other than Japan. And other than Japan meaning we have certain bases for more than 50 countries, including, of course, the US, North America, Europe, Asia, China, all parts of the world.
Is the United States market important to Hitachi?
US market is very, very important. US economy is the largest in the world and will still continue to grow. So the US market size is important to Hitachi. But more importantly to Hitachi is US market nature is very, very innovative. In the US, many new thinking, new orientations, new ideas, new products are coming out in the United States. And those, once introduced in the US, it will spread out to the world and affect to the rest of the world. So this kind of innovative nature of the US market attracts Hitachi very much. Our new business models and business motto is social innovation businesses. Social innovation businesses is to contribute social solutions by Hitachi's technologies, utilizing information telecommunication technology in almost all parts of the people's daily life. Hitachi should be probably more visible to people of the world, people of the United States. And Hitachi, as one of the largest business group in Japan, should be demonstrating right value of Hitachi to the US and the world people. I think so.
Peter Landers, Tokyo bureau chief of the Wall Street Journal, focused in on Japan's culture of innovation and craftsmanship.
Japan used to be the second largest economy in the world, as you know, and now it is the third largest economy in the world, behind China and the United States. So it has lost some of the prestige or the primacy that it had maybe 20 or 30 years ago in the world economy, and yet it's still a crucial link for so many products that we use today. I mean, after the earthquake in March 2011, there were a few factories in Japan that were supplying 90 or 100% of the world's demand for certain products or parts, and the world economy can't function without them. Apple can't function without them. One of them was, I believe, an element used in paint for cars. It was actually a German company that had a factory in Sendai, I think, in northeastern Japan, and without that element, you couldn't have the sparkle in paint on cars. The brand name Japanese products, whether it be a Sony or Panasonic, they have ebbed somewhat in the world economy in favor of maybe a Chinese or South Korean company like Samsung or LG. 20 or 30 years ago, nobody used a Samsung smartphone. There was no such thing as a smartphone.
There you go.
And Japanese mobile phone makers were hoping to turn their brand names into global brands, and that really did not work out for them nearly as well as it did for Samsung. But at the same time, if you look inside the smartphone, the iPhone or a Samsung phone, so many of those parts are made in Japan, and you can't make a smartphone without these tiny capacitors or transistors, that kind of thing.
The Japanese are very good at craftsmanship, aren't they? Little tiny things, you know, that kind of make the world go around.
That's right, that's right. So many of these tiny parts, maybe the size of a grain of sand or a speck of dust. One thing I have observed over the years is the devotion that Japanese people often have towards very specific crafts or arts. So there is a devotion to craftsmanship, I think, in Japan. You see it in the products we talked about before. That I can't explain it exactly. It's just, I guess, part of the culture.
A history of superb craftsmanship combined with 20th and 21st century technological innovation are two of the engines that have made Japan a world-class economic power. Japanese craftsmanship has pushed technology in new directions in trains, space exploration, and even aquariums. We talked with the president of Napura, a company that designs, builds, and installs large aquariums with its trademarked Aqua wall.
Monterey, that job really put the company on the map, huh?
はい、それですね、日本の水族館が
That is true, and also there were many aquariums starting from the Yashima aquarium there that started to be built all over Japan, and they were increasingly using the acrylic glass for the tanks. And then many of the large acrylic sheet manufacturers started to enter into that market. And since we were a very small company in Japan and our credibility was zero, we were not able to survive in this domestic market.
Mm-hmm. But how did it go? Oh, so that's how the worldwide market started.
はい、それで、我々の技術
However, we were very confident that our technology was very competitive, that we would lose over none, and therefore we decided to move into the overseas markets, and the first market was Monterey in the United States.
How many aquariums and aqua walls are there around the world?
今現在で
Currently 60
60カ
countries,
国
including the United States.
Whoa. Whoa. Are they huge walls?
一番最初にギネス
This is in the Guinness Book of Records, and the thickness is 60 centimeters, and the width is 23 meters, and the height will be 8 meters 300. And this is in the Chura Aquarium in Okinawa Prefecture. There is a new aquarium that just opened last month in China, and the glass we use there, the acrylic glass we use there, is 40 meters in width, 8.3 meters in height, and 64 centimeters in thickness. And this is the third time that we have renewed the Guinness record.
What does the future hold for the company?
その将来の見込みっていうか
The reason we continue these challenges is because these big tanks in the aquariums, that the tanks can hold about, for example, 20,000 tons of water. So if something happens, if there is an accident, it's going to be a huge accident, which we have to avoid at all costs. Therefore, we continue to carry out extensive research and development on improving the material to be used so that these will be durable, more durable than concrete for a very long time.
Another example of Japanese innovation can be found in its magnetic levitating trains, or Maglev trains.
要は一般の鉄道が
General normal train uses the friction because it's using the steel rail and wheels. On the other hand, the maglev train, especially our maglev train, is a superconductive maglev. So there are the superconductive magnet on the rolling stock side, and on the ground there are propulsion coils and the guidance coils, and those coils will generate some force. So this rolling stock will levitate, and that will be levitated about 10 centimeters above the ground. They can run at the speed of 500 kilometers per hour.
説明します。
With this system, when the rolling stock is not moving, or it is still moving at the lower speed, such as 140 kilometers or 150 kilometers per hour, it doesn't have the sufficient levitation force. So in that case, we use the wheels, the rubber tire, in other words, to run at the low speed. It increases levitation power, but it doesn't fly like airplane.
No. Is the Maglev train operating any place in the world?
例えばシステムは
Well, for example, the Germany developed the maglev, but this is completely different system than our SC maglev or superconductive maglev, and that train is running in Shanghai, and they are using the general magnet, so it's not the superconductive maglev. So the maximum speed they can achieve is 430 kilometers per hour, and it can be levitated at 1 centimeters high.
What does the Maglev train say about Japan, innovation and technology and transportation?
まあやはり時速500キロという
This system that achieved 500 kilometers per hour, well, in the processes of development such a railway system, we have gathered all different technologies such as mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and civil engineering. So this is the accumulation or the consolidation of all different technologies, and Japan has such technology. And also our Tokaido Shinkansen, the high-speed rail, is commemorate our 50th year this year. And so far we have had 0 fatality due to the train accident. And our train delay is very little, so on average it's 0.5 minutes. And we do have such know-how and the knowledge. So as a result of having such know-how and also the technologies, we are able to develop such a transport system that can run at the speed of 500 kilometers per hour.
現在、東京から名古屋まで
Currently, with the Tokaido Shinkansen, it will take about 90 minutes between Tokyo to Nagoya. But with the superconductive maglev, it will be shortened to 40 minutes between Tokyo to Nagoya. And between Tokyo to Osaka today on the Tokaido Shinkansen, it will take 2 hours and 30 minutes, but it will be 67 minutes with SC maglev.
Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, or JAXA, is similar to NASA in the United States. We met with JAXA President Naoki Okamura. Dr. Okamura talked about the Hayabusa project, one of Japan's recent contributions to space exploration.
I'm wondering if you know Hayabusa, which is something like a mission which went to the asteroid and then returned to Earth having some samples.
So
you
this
see, that is the first, Hayabusa. And we are planning to launch new Hayabusa this year.
What does the JAXA represent as far as bringing together technology, exploration, innovation for Japan? It's really important, isn't it?
Sure. for instance, is carbon fibers, which is very light and strong. That means, you see, this material is very suitable for space. Mm-hmm. And in fact, you see, carbon fibers is very much produced in Japanese companies. And the JAXA employed this composite made of carbon fibers to space technologies. This is, you see, in a sense, is Japanese craftsmanship. That we employed is fine advanced system engineering, and then also we employed new fine technologies like carbon composite.
Mm. So that was a contribution to everybody.
Oh, yeah, everybody, yes.
And it may be a surprise to some people that the captain of the International Space Station, from from Japan.
Yes. This is, you see, Dr. Wakata is now sitting on the commander of ISS.
The commander.
Commander, yes, that's right, yes. We are very proud of him.
I would think so.
Yeah.
What excites you about the space station?
Yeah, in fact, you see, space station is something like, you see, huge event for humankind, not only for, you see, American people, but also, you see, not Japanese, all humankind, because this is the first trial for humankind that, you see, humankind are living in space.
Yes.
This is a great, you see, adventure.
The American Chamber of Commerce in Japan represents the business interests of more than 2,700 members in 1,000 companies from 40 countries. I spoke with AmCham President Jay Panizeki.
Japan is the United States' fourth largest trading partner, so it's a very important environment and economy for U.S. goods and services, and also by having such an active engagement in the Japanese economy that creates needed jobs in the United States.
I noticed in roaming around your website that you are involved in so many activities, almost on a daily basis. Something's going on.
We have more than 60 committees which represent different industry sectors as well as issues, and they are actively engaged in advocacy, where we make solutions-based recommendations to the Japanese government in terms of areas to improve the rules and regulations that will make it easier to do business in Japan.
How about this business of the Trans-Pacific Partnership? Is that something that's in your bailiwick?
We're very focused on the TPP negotiations. We've been longtime supporters of the Trans-Pacific Partnership and regularly make clear to both our U.S. and our Japanese stakeholders at the government level that that's something we're very much in favor of.
How, to just the layperson, this big trade summit and the agreement that they want to execute, how will it affect the United States favorably? How will it affect Japan favorably?
Well, first, in terms of Japan, it's an important part of Prime Minister Abe's growth strategy and the economic reforms that he has in mind. And from the U.S. perspective, the Asia-Pacific region is an increasingly important area of the global economy. That not being involved in that would be disadvantageous from a going forward perspective.
But it's kind of an opening up on the part of the Japanese, isn't
It's
it?
also the opportunity for the U.S. and Japan to create the architecture, the economic architecture for trade in the region going forward. It's an opportunity to create a stable, open, and predictable environment in which to do business in the Asia-Pacific in the future. And by promoting TPP and hopefully leading to its conclusion and enactment, it will stimulate business and economic growth and equally importantly, create jobs, needed jobs in the United States as well as in Japan and in the region.
For information about This Is America and the World and online video for all of our programs, visit our website, thisisamerica.net. And now you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. This Is America and the World is brought to you by the National Education Association, the U.S.-China Education Trust, and the F.Y. Chang Foundation, guided by Ambassador Julia Chang Block, President. The League of Arab States, representing 350 million people in 22 member countries. ANA, Japan's largest airline with an extensive network throughout Asia. Japan, history, hospitality, and advanced technology. Sharing tomorrow. The Republic of Kazakhstan, a rich history and a future of development and growth. The Rotendaro Family Trust. The Embassy Series, uniting people through musical diplomacy, presenting international artists in diplomatic settings. And Ventana Productions, television facilities, editing, and distribution services.